everyone, it's Alyce and it's Christmas Eve. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, today's video is all about the classic authors who I've never read before. This is inspired by the first author that I'm going to talk about, who is Charles Dickens, because every single year it gets to December and I think, I'm going to read A Christmas Carol. And every year it gets to Christmas and I still haven't read it. And it wasn't until I was thinking about this a couple of days ago that I realised I've never actually read a Charles Dickens book. I own all of them. I have a huge vintage bundle that I bought myself and I thought that would make me read them. But some of them are extremely large and intimidating, and the ones that aren't really large and intimidating are quite over-recommended. So A Christmas Carol, Oliver Twist, they're the shorter ones, but they're the ones that everybody knows when you mention Dickens. So I'm going to have to change that at some point because he has tons of books, but I don't know when I'm going to change that. Another classic author I should definitely have read by now is Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. I was more interested in To Kill a Mockingbird before Go Set a Watchman was released, because I don't feel as though it was necessary for them to release a sequel that Harper Lee didn't really consent to. I will probably still read To Kill a Mockingbird at least. I'm not sure whether I ever will read Go Set a Watchman, but they were Harper Lee's only two books, so if I enjoy her writing as much as I think I'm going to, I'll probably read both. I just might regret it. Another author I'd really like to read as soon as possible is Virginia Woolf, who wrote To the Lighthouse and Orlando. I've been interested in Virginia Woolf since reading a non-fiction book by her granddaughter, Emma Woolf, who is called An Apple a Day, and it's detailing her struggle with anorexia and fertility issues and everything like that, and I found it absolutely fascinating. And there are sections where she touches upon the fact that she comes from, like, literary royalty. And I don't know, there was just something about that that really intrigued me, and it made me buy a lot of Virginia Woolf books. Yeah, but I still haven't read any of them. I mean, Mrs. Dalloway, A Room of One's Own. She's got so many books that are iconic, and again, like, everybody has heard of them. So I don't know why I haven't read any of hers yet either. Another author I'm pretty sure I haven't read anything by is Mark Twain, who wrote Huckleberry Finn, and I think also The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I've got a feeling I started, or at least tried, one of these books when I was little, but I didn't ever get through it. So I should do that at some point eventually. I just don't know when. And another classic author that I tried when I was younger and couldn't get through was Louisa May Alcott, who wrote Little Women. Little Women has been very popular over the last couple of years because there was a film adaptation and it kind of revived a lot of love for it. And I don't know whether the hype of that also put me off, because I'd been thinking about reading it because I'd managed to find a copy of Little Women and Good Wives in a charity shop. So I was planning on reading it fairly soon, and then everybody was going on about it and I panicked and changed my mind. But hopefully I will read that one eventually as well, and then possibly explore more of Louisa May Alcott's writing. Sean's going to kill me for this one because I've actually never read an Arthur Conan Doyle book. Oops. I keep meaning to read Sherlock because Sean really loves the Sherlock stories and he's recommended them to me multiple times, but yeah, I haven't done that. I think I tried. I tried Hound of the Baskervilles when I was younger because I thought it was a book about dogs, because there's a big dog on the cover. And I don't know if it is a book about dogs and I just can't remember, but dogs interest me, and I feel like because I was quite young, I had an advanced reading age, so I just picked up whatever books were put in my path. And I think because I was quite young, whatever the topic of this one was just did not interest me. So that might have put me off. But hopefully that will change. Also on this list that I'm a little bit annoyed at myself about is Thomas Hardy, who wrote Tess of the D'Urbervilles. I was actually meant to study this at university, but I had to leave because I was pregnant and... long story, but basically the midwife told me I could finish out my first year, and then we got to Christmas and she was like, no, you can't finish out your first year, you have to come home for more maternity appointments and to give birth. And I was like, yeah, okay, fair enough, whatever. That wasn't what you told me 3 months ago, but fine. So I had to drop out of uni halfway through the year, and it meant that where we were supposed to read Tess of the D'Urbervilles in January, I just never got to it. and I was really interested in it, and I really wanted to do that module because it sounded like it was going to be fascinating. And yeah, I haven't even read the book, so I will have to fix that at some point, just because I should have read it 5 years ago and actually studied it. 4 years ago? 4 years ago, and actually studied it, so I would have had a really good deep knowledge of it, but alas. Another author I'd like to read from is George Eliot, who wrote Middlemarch. I've actually got the Crossbound Classic of Middlemarch, hauled it recently, was really, really excited, promised myself I would read it, still haven't read it, still haven't read any George Eliot writing. I will eventually, I hope. And I hope I'll also read something by Toni Morrison, because I know Toni Morrison's Beloved is very beloved by the book community, and so that's another one that I would like to pick up at some point. I've got a feeling there's another Toni Morrison book that a lot of people recommend, but I just can't think of what it's called off the top of my head because it's very late at night while I'm filming this. It is 4 in the morning, in fact, because I did not have time to film earlier and Sophia decided to stay up late. So I'm sorry if I'm not making any sense or getting any of this wrong, but that also just proves how little I know about these classic authors. And the last one that I'm putting on the list for today is Jules Verne, who wrote 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea and Around the World in 80 Days. Sean started reading 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea to me, and his voice lulled me to sleep. And then, I don't know why, we just never carried on. We must have read like half a chapter or a chapter that night, and I was really intrigued by the story, and it's quite a short one too, so I don't know why we didn't carry on, but we're going to have to pick that up again eventually, because I'm really interested in it, and it's probably something I should have read, because it's like very early sci-fi. Yeah, one of the godfathers of sci-fi, I think they call Jules Verne, but yeah, it's definitely a area of the classic genre that I would like to, well, it's a genre in classic that I would like to explore more, because the only sci-fi fantasy classic author that I've read is H.G. Wells, so I'd like to explore that a little bit more. And those are 10 authors who are classic authors who I haven't read anything by. If any of these authors are particular favourites of yours, or if you've read a lot from them in the past, then please leave a comment down below and let me know. If there's anywhere that you would recommend starting, it would be really helpful for me, because I have no idea where to go from here with this list, but I just thought it was a fun one to film. If you like this video, please like it, and if you'd like to subscribe, I'd be super duper grateful. We're posting new videos every single day in December for Bookmas, so pop back tomorrow on Christmas Day for a list of books I hope I've found in my stocking. We'll be able to judge Sean's prediction skills if he's not managed to get me any of them. Thanks for watching. Bye!